Howdy. I'm the old ranger, and Death Valley's my stamping ground. Many's the tale of adventure I'm going to tell you about the Death Valley country. True stories, mind you. I can vouch for that. My story tonight took place over 100 years ago, but it's very timely. I call it the land of the free. The year is 1849. From all corners of the earth, men are heading for California in the greatest gold rush the world has ever known. Most of them with just one thought in mind, get rich. Some for the sheer adventure of it. A few to lose themselves. But the two men in our story have a still different reason. A unique one. It starts in Louisville, Kentucky, in the home of Dr. Henry Cabell.
The stories they're telling about California sound like something out of the Arabian Nights. Why, who'd have one fella, son of an overseer, a nobody, picked up 167 ounces of gold in 2 days?
That's a great deal of gold.
Well, I declare, why, it doesn't seem possible. More than 10 pounds of gold in 2 days.
How much is 10 pounds of gold in money?
I don't know. It's past my apprehension.
Zack. Zeke.
We beg your pardon, Miss Caroline. Me and Zack didn't mean to confiscate the conversation.
You were saying, Mr. Tyler?
I was saying, with gold that plentiful, I'll come back at the end of a year with a fortune. More than I'd make in a lifetime grubbing away in a law office. In spite of what Miss Cherry says.
I refuse to argue with it, Tyler. The last even before you leave.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I only wish Dr. Cabell were a little younger or more adventurous so he could go.
A few of us, my dear sister, are needed at home to grub.
I took permission to bring the dessert in myself, Miss Caroline. Something special for Master Tyler's going away.
Angel food. Rebby, you're wonderful.
And I put the candles on to help light your way back to Kentucky.
You almost make me change my mind about going.
Master Tyler's got a weakness for angel food like nothing you ain't never seen.
Wait till you taste it. It'll be your weakness, too. Rebby's the best cook in Kentucky. Bar none.
It's good of you to let us have a Tyler while you're away.
My pleasure, sir.
And my pleasure, too, Master Tyler, giving me a chance to be with my brothers for a spell.
You sure you wouldn't like to sell her to us, Mr. Tyler? Since we already own Zack and Zeke?
I'll need her when I get back. I plan on buying the old Russell place and doing it over. Have a real establishment. That is, if Miss Cherry'd like it.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, Tyler.
Might even arrange to buy Zeke and Zack from you then, Doctor.
You do count on making a fortune in California, don't you? Well, here's to your success, sir.
The best time to ask him is right after a meal. Folks always feels good then.
Tomorrow morning, right after breakfast.
So soon?
The longer we wait, the lesser gold will be in California.
Makes my mouth dry just to think about it.
The least he can say is no.
Will you do the talking, Zeke?
I'll do the broaching, and you back me up.
Yeah, I'll back you up, sure.
And I'll do the praying. For you both.
Tyler Preston is a fine, upstanding young man. Good family, good education, and good habits.
I agree with you, Annie, but I want more than that in the man I marry. I want someone who's sure of himself, who doesn't jump this way and that every time the wind blows. Someone who'll make me excited at the very thought of marrying him.
Excited? Oh, marriage is a business, not a fancy dress ball. I declare, you younger generation are certainly getting some strange ideas. Why, in my day, such things were arranged for the children, and there was no argument.
Now, Carolyn, don't get yourself upset. Times are changing, and I, for one, am in favor of it. I never did feel that marriage should be put on the same level with raising horses. Oh, speaking of horses, Zeke, tell Zack I want to talk to him about that gray mare.
Zack's already here, sir, waiting to see you. We both is. What I means is, there's something we want to talk about, Moss Henry. Zack!
Well, what is it? Something wrong? What have you two been up to?
We ain't been up nothing, Miss Caroline. That is nothing wrong.
No, ma'am, sure ain't.
Well, speak up, Zeke.
Oh, you've been mighty kind to us, Mouse Henry. Ain't a better mouser in all Kentucky than you is.
And that's the truth.
Of all the slaves we know, there's none better treated than me and Zack.
It sure ain't.
But
But what?
we still is slaves.
Of course.
We's owned by someone that can buy us and sell us.
You needn't be afraid. I'd never sell either of you boys as long as I can help it.
Not even to Mr. Tyler, if that's what's worrying you.
Moss Henry, we wants to be free. We want to belong to ourselves. We want to go where we like, stay where we like, get married as we like, have children. That's free.
I never heard of such impertinence.
Not impertinence, my dear Carolyn, but a very natural desire. I sympathize with you boys. Every man feels the same way, regardless of race or color. If I could afford it, I'd set you free myself. But I'm just a hard-working doctor.
Who can't collect his bills.
But we ain't asking you to give us our freedom, Mouse Henry.
No, sir. We wants to buy it.
Buy it? With what?
With gold. If Mouse Henry will just, what's that word?
Grub steak.
That's it. If Mouse Henry will just grub stick Zack and me to California, why, we'll gather enough gold to buy our freedom papers.
That's the most preposterous suggestion I ever heard.
California's a long way off, boys. Even after you got out there, it wouldn't be as easy as you think.
The gold is just laying all over the ground, Mouse Tyler say.
Mr. Tyler hopes.
You can't believe all those tales you hear about just picking it up.
We'll dig for it then.
It'll be a lot different than plantation life. Here you have warm quarters, plenty to eat. Out there you'd have to sleep on the cold ground, perhaps. Go hungry.
All in things we can stand, Mouse Henry, if we working for our freedom.
I don't know why you sit there, Henry, and allow them to argue. The doctor has patients waiting for him. And there's plenty of work waiting for you in the kitchen, Rebby. Tell him the whole idea is impossible, Henry.
Why is it?
Mouse Henry.
You wouldn't let them go. Our two most valuable slaves.
Of course, there'd have to be details worked out.
Have you lost your senses, Henry Cabell? What, these slaves are worth at least $1,200 apiece.
We'll earn it. Just give us our chance.
Very well, I will.
Moss Henry, the best moss in the whole South.
Praise the Lord. Father, you're wonderful.
From the sunny south, the scene now shifts to the gold camp of Hangtown, California, in the winter of 1849. The first of California's unusual winters. For weeks on end, it has rained without let-up. What with the mud and freezing cold, mining has become impossible. Those who didn't quit camp altogether try to forget the misery of the weather in the company of places like the El Dorado.
Hey, shut that door.
We just step inside, sir, to get out of the rain for a minute.
Get over there by the stove.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Here, move up closer. You're shaking like a pair of dice.
And dripping like a couple of watering cans.
Do it always rain like this in California?
I ain't seen the sun since I came here in 48. We sent out a pair of doves last week to try to locate some dry land. They ain't never come back. Drowned, I guess.
Let's see your papers.
Papers, sir?
Runaway slaves, that's what you are.
No, sir, we're not.
You are slaves.
Yes, sir.
And you ain't got any freedom papers?
No, sir, but,
I know it. Could tell it just as soon as they walked in here. It'll go hard for them, believe me, when they're sent back to their owners. And I'm taking you in right now, till I get word to the authorities and collect the reward.
Hold it, Pike.
Who are you? Where you from?
Louisville, sir.
Kentucky.
What's your names?
Zack.
Zeke.
Well, which is it?
Zeke.
Zack.
Make up your minds.
My name is Zack. It's short for Zachariah, sir.
My name is Zeke, short for Ezekiel.
Good old Bible names, huh?
Yes, sir. My mammy, she opened up the Bible every time she have a new child born and name it from the book she opened up to.
That don't make 'em honest. Shut up. What are you doing out here in California?
Our Martha, Dr. Henry Cabell, sent us out to give us a chance to earn our freedom.
They're lying. No man in his right mind would trust them.
I said shut up.
Yes, sir. This will explain.
They're telling the truth. How much gold you gotta dig?
$1,250 each. That's what we're worth on the market.
And $500 each the doctor advanced us for traveling money, too, sir.
$3,500, huh?
Yes, sir.
How long you figure it takes to dig that much gold, boss?
In this weather, there's no use trying to dig any gold. You'll have to wait for spring.
We ain't got time to wait, sir.
No, sir. We got to get going.
Well, there's nobody stopping you. If you're willing to go out and buck this infernal cold and wet.
But it really ain't worth it, boys. You'll be lucky if you take out an ounce a day.
Yeah, and what's a measly ounce of gold?
It have one fuel link, boss, in the chain what holds us.
And so, all during that miserable winter of 1849, while the other men of Hangtown loafed around the saloons and gambling joints, spending their money and cursing the weather, Zeke and Zack worked in the freezing mud of the creek beds, picking out their ounce or two of gold each day. And each night in their little shack, they carefully added it to their slowly but steadily growing savings.
Hush! Be careful, Zack. You want to blow out day scrapings all over the cabin?
Sorry, Zeke. Old chilblains in my feet. It's creeping up to my head.
There.
Getting heavy. You think we ought to have Mr. Putty, the bartender, to weigh it up for us again?
We don't need to. We weighed it ourselves.
What are you talking about? We ain't got no gold scales. Couldn't read them if we did have.
That's what you think. Mr. Putty weighed this up, make this up for us today. Even folks that can't read can read this. Now, you put the gold on that end. Now, put the rock on this end. Mr. Putty say, when the gold balances the rock, we got $3,500 worth.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Now, put these on. Add a little more. Put this one on. Put this. Damn! We only need that much more gold and it's free men.
Free men. Them is the sweetest sounding words I ever heard. It makes me feel so revitalized, I forget all about my old chilblain feet and my aching back.
Also, the weather here has been very severe this winter. And mining activity is practically at a standstill until spring comes. So you can see, Cherry, that there's a great deal more to acquiring a fortune in gold than the stories would lead you to believe. And that law practice in Louisville looks better to me with each passing day. If things don't give more promise in the Hangtown district, you may have a chance to say, I told you so, before very long. Respectfully, Tyler.
He don't say nothing about meeting up with Zeke and Zack.
California's a big country, Ribby.
Oh, Zeke and Zack. I can see him now, cold and stiff with freezing. Oh, woe is me.
Oh, hush up, Reddy. If they haven't sense enough to get in out of the cold, then they ought to freeze. Now, you get back to the kitchen.
Oh, me, oh, my. Poor Zeke and Zack. Poor Zeke and Zack.
Poor Dr. Cabell. Alive or frozen, we'll never see those two slaves again, or the money for their freedom.
You in or out, mister?
How's the gold mining?
It's mighty tough, Mr. Putty, but we's persistent.
Would you mind if we stand here for a spell? It's pretty lonesome sitting in that old cabin every night.
Help yourselves. Stay as long as you like.
Thank you, sir.
Whipsawed again.
Zack, look at there.
Moss Tyler. Confound my luck anyway.
Howdy, Moss Tyler.
Zack, Zeke. Gosh, Moss Tyler, it sure is good to see a face around here we know.
It's good to see you boys, too. Miss Sherry wrote me you'd come west, and I wondered where you wound up.
We wind up right here in Hangtown, Moss Tyler. Ain't been no place else.
But we're getting ready to go home now, though.
Well, I don't blame you. This weather's enough to discourage anybody.
Oh, we ain't discouraged, Moss Tyler. We's joyful.
Yes, sir. We got more than $3,000 saved up, according to our calculation.
3,000?
Yes, sir.
You mean you've worked in this cold and rain?
Every day.
Well, I must say you deserve plenty of credit. Who's taking care of it for you? The bartender?
No, sir. We's taking care of it ourselves.
We got it hid in a safe place.
Well, seeing you're on the chips, how about a little loan?
Loan?
Not all of it. Say, just 1,000. See, I've had a streak of bad luck tonight, but I've got a feeling it's due for a change.
I'm sorry, Moss Tyler, but this here's our freedom gold.
But I'll give it back to you. It's just a loan.
We are sorry, sir.
What are you trying to do? Set yourselves up to be as good or better than I am?
No, sir.
Well, then do as I say.
We's worked and froze for this gold, Moss Tyler, and we gotta have it to make us free.
So you refuse? Well, wait till Dr. Cabell hears about this. I doubt very much if he'll sell you your freedom then.
Come on, let's go back to the cabin. I don't feel lonely no more. I sure hope Moss Tyler don't get Moss in the dump. Mr. Price, what are you doing with our gold? Zack, are you low down white trash? You give us our gold. I'm gonna have the law on you, bitch. Come here, trying to steal our spices. You get our spices. You get in this thing now.
Here, what you need is a drink.
No, thank you, sir. Liquor's against our religion.
Did you catch him? No, by the time we got to his cabin, he packed his stuff and skipped.
And he's halfway across the mountains by now. Too bad, boys. Looks like your gold is gone for good.
It's all my fault. I had no right to ask you for it, especially in public.
If we'd had any sense, we'd have kept our mouths shut about having it.
Well, the weather will be getting better pretty soon. Won't take you as long to dig that much again.
No, sir. We's through digging. Way we interpolates the Lord's way of telling us to go back to Mars Center and be content with being slaves.
We ain't got the sense it takes to be free.
All we have to do is stay out here.
No, sir. We gives Moss Henry our promise and we keeps it.
We want to thank you, gentlemen, for trying to help us.
Can you imagine going back to be slaves again? Darned if I would. Promise or no promise.
If I hadn't gambled away my money, I'd make it up to them.
That gold ring you wearing would help, if you care to contribute. Anything anybody gives would help. $3,500 ain't much. I've seen $3,500 worth of booze go down your throats in one night. $3,500 change hands in a game of stud. $3,500 is just $3,500 to most folks. But to Zeke and Zack, it's the difference between being slaves and going free. So step up, boys, and shell out.
I'll start off with $200 and free drinks to everybody who contributes.
Gabby, go out and round up the rest of the boys. Come on, fellas, let's make him pour drinks till he's armed.
Zeke, what do you figure we done? Bring down this cast of strawberry on our head like this?
Now, don't you go question the ways of the Lord. He know what he's doing. Folks get just what they deserves anyway.
I suppose you're right. But I sort of feel this time he's keeping it on kind of heavy.
Boys, we've got a little something here for you.
For us, Paul?
Yep, on behalf of the El Dorado Saloon and its customers.
This for us?
Yep, and there's more than enough there to make up for what you lost.
White folks do this for us.
So white man robbed you, wasn't it?
No, he was yellow.
Now you can go home and buy your freedom.
Freedom? You hear that, Zeke?
Freedom.
Boss, we're practically on our way.
No, we ain't. We're gonna send this home and stay right here and scratch up enough to pay back every gentleman who contributed.
That isn't necessary, Zeke. We were all happy to give.
We don't doubt that, sir. But it make us happy to show our appreciation by paying it back. When you leaving for home, Marse Tyler?
As soon as I can scrape together enough money.
Will you mind toting this home to Marse Henry for us?
Me?
Of course, there's Wells Fargo, but Wells Fargo's a stranger to us.
And you our folks.
Well, Caroline, you see, you were wrong.
I was right about one thing. You'll never see those two slaves again.
What Miss Caroline mean, Master Tyler? Ain't Zeke and Zack coming home?
I'm afraid not, Rebby. See, they feel they made a lot of friends out there, and well, they might stay for good.
Oh. Well, I guess it's their right, now that they're free.
Maybe they'll earn enough to buy your freedom, Rebby.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? Do you think they could, Master Tyler?
Oh, undoubtedly. But that won't be necessary, Rebby. I'm giving you your freedom now.
You is? Oh, Tyler.
On one condition. That you go out and join your brothers in California.
Oh, Master Tyler.
And cook for those miners. Now, they could stand some real good Southern home cooking. They've earned it.
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His rule is marching on.
But it's not worth very much, but it's all I had to put in.
If you'll excuse me, I have some patients to call on.
Well, go ahead and say it. I told you so.
I don't think I will.
Oh, but you were right about my making the trip.
No, I was wrong. I never would have married the man who went to California, Tyler. But I'd be proud to marry the man who came back.
Jerry.
Tyler.
Yes, every man has a right to be free. And if he's willing to work for it, he'll get his freedom somehow.